let's go over where we are on the infrastructure bill. Chuck Schumer is determined to get these, to have two things happen before they go on their August recess. And I don't know exactly when they're going on. Are they going at the end of this week, I think, in the Senate?
Yes, that's why they want this done.
They want all the procedural stuff, and they want basically to pass the bipartisan bill in the Senate. They also want to get, I think they want to try and get the vote-a-rama done on the reconciliation bill. We'll see. But here is AOC on with Jake Tapper, basically putting a line in the sand, saying that they will hold up the bipartisan infrastructure proposal if the reconciliation bill doesn't come hand in hand with it. They're laying it down right here.
And will you vote for it?
We have to hold out to that. We have to hold on to that bargain. If there is not a reconciliation bill in the House, and if the Senate does not pass the reconciliation bill, we will uphold our end of the bargain and not pass the bipartisan bill until we get all of these investments in. And I want to be clear that the investments in the bipartisan bill are not all, candy land. There are some of these quote unquote pay-fors that are very alarming that we need to see the language on. For example, some of the language around privatizing public infrastructure, putting toll roads, leasing public infrastructure to private entities are very concerning and should be concerning to every American. So we really need to see that language and see what's put in there until it reaches, when it reaches the House. Bipartisan doesn't always mean that it's in the interest of the public good, frankly. Sometimes there's a lot of corporate lobbyist giveaways in some of these bills.
Okay, so when it comes to the infrastructure package, you disagree with your fellow Democrat, Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin of Michigan, who told Politico, quote, strike while the iron's hot. If you get a deal and if it's significant money, don't let it sit. It does not age well. You disagree.
Well, we have a deal, and the deal is reconciliation for the bipartisan infrastructure bill.
Okay, yeah, you've made your point. You have called out Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema for saying she does not support the budget reconciliation package, $3.5 trillion for all sorts of priorities.
Because I want to make something clear that I think is interesting here. We do need to see the language on the privatization, but all the reports that I've seen so far say that the privatization provisions are actually much, 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 much smaller than they were initially.
They got watered down, thankfully.
Initially, they were really horrific. But what she's doing there, again, is she is providing cover for, she is staking out that this is going to be a compromise for us. We're going to have to eat some crap. Mm-hmm. And just by articulating that, it gives room for a Joe Manchin to eat some crap. They can justify it because they're going to say, look at the other guy. You think this is bad? Look at the other guy. Right. And even if it's not, even if she's really not that concerned about the privatization, because you're talking about I think it's a couple $100 million in a, $500 billion worth of new spending.
It's still an effective cudgel.
It's a very effective way that gives space for Joe Manchin. A lot of this is like kabuki in that respect. Now, it's also possible that the language gets there and it's horrible. But all right, continue.
Reconciliation package, $3.5 trillion for all sorts of priorities. You wrote, quote, good luck tanking your own party's investment on childcare, climate action, and infrastructure while presuming you'll survive a 3-vote House margin. Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. This is the deal. And we have a tight margin in the Senate. I respect that we have to get Senator, Sinema and Manchin's vote on reconciliation. They should also respect that there's a very tight House margin and that we have to be able to uphold our end of the bargain as well. And House progressives are also part of that majority. And
how many House progressives do you think are with you on this?
I believe a very large amount of the Progressive Caucus. The total amount is about 90. I am not the whip of the Progressive Caucus, but what I can tell you is that it's certainly more than 3, and it is in the double digits, absolutely.
Enough to prevent it from passing.
More than enough.
This is great. This is exactly what some people online that were calling for her to do with her high public profile, which is essentially use her leverage. If she's saying this publicly, she has confidence that she's got, Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman, she's got Ilhan Omar. There's going to be enough people that if these bills are not joined at the hip, which is, it's helpful for her that Nancy Pelosi's also said this publicly. They're gonna use their leverage, and that's excellent.
And also, what's important is that there's a buildup here. She's out there making the case beforehand.
She's thrown down the gauntlet.
Well, but she's thrown down the gauntlet. But I want to be clear here. She is framing this as, we have a deal. And if they do something to break the deal, they're breaking the deal. Right. We are the ones who are being reasonable. And we have a deal, and they are publicizing and creating the expectations. Here's the deal. And if those two bills don't show up at the same time, they broke the deal. We didn't break the deal. And that is crucial to being able to sort of like have, frankly, the support and to avoid the blowback on something like this.
And she must have the go-ahead by Pramila Jayapal as well, too, who chairs the Progressive Caucus. Like, there is something, I think they're being very strategic about this, and it might signal that Jayapal's leadership has substantively different motives and modes of operation than under Pocan. It's going to be a bit more aggressive.
Yes, I think that's supposedly what was the case, and also it's just easier when you get one person as opposed to two.
I just want to say,
and the one person is Jayapal as opposed to Pocan.
Right. But they were co-chairs.
No, I know. Yeah.
All CIA agents in the Democratic Party should be primaried out of office, is my take on Slotkin.
Oh, yeah, Slotkin, yeah. Right.
Without a doubt. Folks, there's more of what you've just saw where that came from. That's if you hit the subscribe and like button. Thank you. Really, thank you.